Hey, what's up everyone, it's your girl Brian Shanae, and today I'm going to be talking about the books that I read in March, so please stay tuned.
Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something.
And we're back. So like I said, I'm going to be talking about the books that I read in March, and it was only 2 books, but you know what, at least I still read a book, you know what I mean? I always try to at least read at least 2 or 1 book at least a month due to my hectic schedule. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first book that I read in March was The Poet X by Elizabeth Esvido. Esvido, I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name. I do apologize, but this was such an amazing book. This is pretty much it's about Zamara, who is this girl, a teenage girl who really does not have a voice in her family. Her mom pretty much takes on everything, wants her to be Catholic and like full-blown spiritual, but she's not like that. I consider Zamara down to earth mostly, and I feel like in this book she was not really heard, especially from her mother. And so with that, she began writing poetry, prose, haikus, everything. So this is what the book looks like. So it was a really fast read, and I really enjoyed this book so much because it reminded me of myself when I was in high school, when I felt like my parents just did not understand me. I wasn't being heard. I wasn't being like heard from some of my friends who really just did not understand what I was going through. And I did do a video previously, I believe last year. I'll leave a video up in the cards above if you are interested in watching that. And just to let you know, I do break down, I do cry, but I'm showing you my true colors and who I am. But for Zamara, it reminded me of myself, because I feel like when you're in high school and you want attention from your parents, or at least your loved ones, and you don't get it, you find ways to do it. You find people that really love you, you find boyfriends, girlfriends, whoever that step into your life, and they become part of that to the point where they listen to you and they understand you. They try to talk with you, let them vent with them, and so on and so forth. And so with Zamara, it reminds me so much of myself. And I'll go ahead, and it says, a story that will slam the power of poetry and love back into your heart. And that was said by Lori House Anderson, who is the author of Speak in Chains. But altogether, this book is gorgeous. I love the cover. It speaks so much. It has words everywhere right here. Pretty much of words she's wanting to say, but she can't say, so she writes it down on paper in her journal. But it says, let me read the synopsis for you. It says, Zamara Batista feels unheard and unable to hide in her Harlem neighborhood. Ever since her body grew into curves, she has learned to let her fists and her fierceness do the talking. But Zamara has plenty she wants to say, and she pours her frustration onto the pages of a leather notebook, reciting the words to herself like prayers, especially after she catches feelings for a boy in her bio class. With Mommy's determination to force her daughter to obey the laws of the church, Zamara understands that her thoughts are best kept to herself. When she is invited to join her school's slam poetry club, she knows that she can never get around Mommy's rules to attend, much less speak her words out loud. But still, she can't stop thinking about performing her poems, because in spite of the world that may not want to hear her, Zamara refuses to be silent. And I think that is the number one thing that I love this book, is because, and in the world in general, she does not want to be silent. She does not want to be where she feels like she has to be quiet. I feel like as a woman, we all have voices, and if you don't know already, there have been there's this bill about the abortion bill. I know this is a strong topic, and it's pretty much telling women what to do with their bodies, and I find that is just terrible. And I know some women, they're not speaking up about it. I'm speaking up now. I feel like that is your choice. I would, and just also inciting that if a woman is raped, or if it's incest, whatever, she still has to keep the baby even if she doesn't want it. And I feel like that's up to the person, but I feel like the woman who is going to be carrying that baby for 9 months should have a say. And I feel like with Zamara, she wanted to speak, but she could not. She was being silenced by her mother, really. And so she pretty much got a notebook and started writing her words. And that's when her teacher started noticing how talented she was, how her words just was so powerful that she needed to speak up and say something. So I really loved reading this book. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars because I definitely recommend this book. I'm definitely going to be reading her next book that is coming out. I forget what it's called. It recently came out. Let me see. I think it's called, let me see, because I have it up here. It's called With the Fire on High. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading that. But this book is definitely a 5 out of 5 stars. And I just really just fell in love with it. But this is the first book that I read in March. The second book that I read, I think this is his debut book. He is from Ohio, and the author is Justin A. Reynolds, and he wrote the book Opposite of Always. And I can just tell you is wow. I fell in love with Jack King. I fell in love with Julian. I fell in love with Franny. I fell in love with Kate, his parents. I just fell in love with it because this book tells you, it pretty much values the concept of the valuability of how valuable your life is. And life is short and you want to spend it to the fullest. YOLO. You only live once. And so with this, I feel like Jack, as he goes on, he figures out the value of life and what you have to do and the people that are around you and how you need to love them, and also not take the ones that have been around you and have been with you and for you. Don't take them for granted. And so with Jack, he pretty much finds Kate at this party, which is a college party, which he's visiting Whittier, which is the school. And he meets Kate. And so he meets Kate a lot of times, actually. And so then they started dating. But the first time he's met her, he didn't know she was sick until later on. And then it's like a movie. I think it was called One Time or Only One Time. I forget. And he comes back to life. He like recasts himself. He gets in an accident or he breaks his neck when he falls off the steps, whatever, what have you. And so he meets her multiple times trying to figure out what is wrong with her. And when he does find out what's wrong with her, she has sickle cell. And so he's trying to find ways to help her and find a cure for her so that way she can live. But as he does that, as he tries to figure out how to help Kate and save her, or Katie, he loses his sight on his friends and his family. He brings more of his attention on Katie than Katie, same thing, than he does with his friends, and they notice that. And he does a lot of wrong things to his friends, but then in the end he realizes that he can't save Kate, but he can figure out a way to do it in such a manner, and he was able to do so, but also keep in touch with his friends and his family and not lose sight of his friends and the people that have been in his life for a very, very long time. And I just love this book because it pretty much has a story about the value of life. And I think that's very important. We all take life for granted, even myself. And when I read this book, it made me realize, like, tomorrow isn't promised for everybody. And it just makes me want to like hug my kids more, tell them that I love them every day. Even my fiance, I tell him that I love him. I give him a kiss. I text him, I love you. I love you. I try to tell my parents that I love you. I thank you for everything that you've done for me, because you never know. Like I said, every day is not promised for everyone. When you wake up, you don't even know if you're going to wake up the next morning. And so with this definitely reminds me about cherishing the ones that you have in your life and loving them and holding them and just telling them and expressing how much you love them. And so I just love this book, and I also love the cover. But I'll also read the synopsis for you just in case you really are interested in reading this book and you want to know more about it. And it says, Jackie Ellison, king of almost. He almost made valedictorian. He almost made varsity. He almost got the girl, until when Jack and Kate meet at a party, bonding until sunrise over their mutual love of Fruit Loops and their favorite flicks. Jack knows he's falling hard. Soon she's meeting his best friends, Jillian and Franny, and Kate wins them over as easily as she did Jack. Jack's curse of almost is finally over. But this love story is complicated. It is an almost happily ever after, because Kate dies, and their story should end there. Yet Kate's death sends Jack back to the beginning, the moment they first meet, and Kate's there again. Beautiful, radiant Kate, healthy, happy, and charming as ever. Jack isn't sure if he's losing his mind. Still, if he has a chance to prevent Kate's death, he'll take it, even if that means believing in time travel. However, Jack will learn that his actions are not without consequences. And when one choice turns deadly for someone else close to him, he has to figure out what he's willing to do and let go to save the people he loves. From debut author Justin A. Reynolds comes a razor-sharp, hilarious, and heartfelt novel about the choices we make, the people we choose, and the moments that make a life worth reliving. And so this book is amazing, and I rated it a 5 out of 5 stars because it's something that it pretty much speaks to you when you read it about the value of life and valuing the people in your life. But yes, this is a 5 out of 5 stars. So in March, I read The Poet-X by Elizabeth Azevedo and Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. 5 out of 5 stars for both of these books. I love them so much, and I definitely would read them again. But that is it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I did just by filming it for you guys. But if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Also hit the subscribe button and that bell so that you be notified when I upload more videos in the future. But thank you so much, you guys. See ya.